The third generation Lincoln Town Car is the most comfortable, most luxurious, classic styled American sedan that you can buy in the used car market today. And today I am going to go over the top 10 things that you need to know about the Lincoln Town Car before you buy it.
Introducing the new 2003 Lincoln Town Car. Now get 3.9% financing for 48 months. There are those who travel well.
So starting off at number 10, first and foremost, I want to talk about reliability. This is quite possibly the most reliable American vehicle ever produced. These have been known to go tons and tons of miles. Anything on this Panther platform is known to be super reliable, including this town car, because these engines have the 4.6 liter V8 that have seen over 500,000 miles in a lot of uses. But there are a few downfalls. Now this one, being an upper trim model, has the electronic opening trunk in the back, and this will reveal that you have a huge amount of storage space back here, but it also shows off one of its downfalls. Now on the inside over here you have an on-off switch, and that operates the rear air suspension. And the air suspension on these is kind of known to be a little bit problematic. Thankfully though, because they made so many of these, pretty inexpensive to fix. Now this one, being the power trunk, means it also gets the soft close, so you just have to lightly press it and then it pulls it down the rest of the way for you. But this will reveal one of the other issues you can see right here, and that is paint. The paint on these cars, and pretty much all Panther platforms from what I have seen, tends to start to flake off at some point. Now a few of the other issues to consider when looking at these is kind of minor in the grand scheme of things, but something that I have commonly seen is the blend doors go bad in these. And now the downside to that means that it's a lot of labor to fix, because you generally have to pull the dash out to get to the blend door, which is back behind all of the things that you see here. And then also, this is a Ford from the early 2000s, and electronics are a little finicky. Sometimes window switches can go bad, window motors can go bad, power seat controls can go bad. A lot of little electronic gadgets and gizmos to look out for. Now number 9 is the platform that this is built on, which is the Panther platform. And the Panther platform is a body-on-frame platform that came out all the way back in 1979, which made this the longest built platform of any North American vehicle ever made. Now when you're shopping for the town car, there are actually two different lengths of wheelbase, and this one is the shorter. If this was the long wheelbase, it would have a little L over here signifying that it's the long wheelbase. Now the short wheelbase is about 117 inches long, so it's still not a short car, but the long wheelbase adds 6 inches to the rear seat legroom and that rear door, making it 123 inches long, which is actually 2 inches longer than a brand new Chevy Tahoe. So number 7 is performance, and what is powering the third gen Lincoln Town Car is Ford's legendary 4.6 liter V8 engine. Now the earlier versions of this put out as little as 205 horsepower, but with this being a 2003 and older model, has the 239 horsepower, which is the peak performance that these were put out at. But they still were not very fast. We're talking 0 to 60 times of about 9 seconds in the most powerful versions, and quarter miles in about 16.5. So number 6 is trim levels. And initially when the third gen Town Car came out, it had 4 of them. The first being the Executive, which is its entry level. The Signature was the step up from the Executive, and then the Signature Touring was its near top trim, but the top dog was the Cartier Edition. Now, in 2004, that Cartier Edition was replaced by the Ultimate, and then in 2005, that Ultimate was entirely dropped. By 2007, the Executive Series was pretty much for fleet sales only. So if you were just a general consumer, your entry level was the Signature, and then you had one model up, which was this Signature Limited. So with the Signature Limited, you did get those heated seats as well as the seat memory. You also got this 6 CD in-dash CD changer as well as upgraded stereo. And you got this nice wood trim here on the top of your steering wheel, as well as the power opening trunk. So there was the designer trim above the Signature Limited, and that came with some upgraded leather, power rear headrests, as well as some chrome accents. And at number 5 has got to be the comfort in this. Now, this being the Signature Limited means that it gets a little extra cushioning in these seats. And boy, do they feel like a lazy boy. This has to be one of the most comfortable cars you could possibly sit in. Now, number 4 is maneuverability. Now, the turning radius on this isn't all that great. In fact, it's about the same as a brand new F-150. But you do have some benefits. And one of the key benefits being when you back up, you do actually have in these later models backup sensors that will beep at you. So when I'm pulling up to this bush here, it's going to start beeping at me and progressively get faster the closer I get to this bush so that I know when to properly stop. And then I do have that hood ornament down at the end of the hood that tells me where the front of the vehicle is, so I know when to stop when I'm trying to park this in a tight spot. So number 3 is driving impressions, and in reality, that is the best part of owning a town car, because nothing is better after a hard day of work than being able to slide in to your lazy boy seats and just kind of waft down the road. And I'm kind of going over some bumps and a curb here, and I don't even notice them. It's just floating along down the road, unencumbered by anything that you could drive over, including other people, because, you know, I mean, if you're a big wig luxury sedan owner back in 2007, you just want to mow down those pedestrians, you go right ahead. You won't even notice in this big boat of a car. And here's the thing. Let's be real, right? In 2007, this was kind of the last gasp of the big American luxury cruiser. Yes, Cadillac had a big American company cruiser as well, but it was front-wheel drive, and Chrysler had the 300, which was a little bit sporty. I mean, heck, it was built on an E-Class platform. So this was kind of it. I mean, if you were looking, for something like this, there really wasn't. This was it. This was the only thing to offer that experience at that time. I mean, sure, if you go back to the 80s or the 90s, you could get something that's as equally comfortable as this, but you're going to get something that's really darn vintage and going to have old car problems, right? They made a bunch of these. Parts are easy to come by. It drives fantastic, and they just don't make them like this anymore. Everything nowadays wants to be sporty as well as luxury. But this was where luxury just meant soft, comfortable, and quiet. And number 2, let's talk about the competition. Now, really in 2007, with the American manufacturers, there wasn't much competition with this. It's a big rear-wheel drive V8 American luxury sedan, and it was the only one. But they did have some real competition, such as like the Mercedes S-Class, the Lexus LS460, the Jaguar XJ, and, you know, those are all good. I mean, I'm thinking the BMW 7 Series as well. Those are all good cars, don't get me wrong. Well, minus the BMW 7 Series. But this is going to be more reliable and less expensive to keep going than any of them. And yes, even less expensive and more reliable than the LS460. Now, if you want to talk LS430, the previous generation, yeah, sure, that one might be less expensive and more reliable to keep running on the road. But those, have you looked at prices lately? Those are going for like $10K for a nice one. These you can get for half the price. And number 1 is price. Now, when this town car was new in 2007, the MSRP on the Signature Limited was about $45,000. And now $45,000 in today's money equates to about $67,000. So this was a pretty darn expensive luxury sedan for its day. But today, you can have these for a heck of a lot less. In fact, I bought this for $3,000 at a dealer auction, with only about 90,000 miles on it. And yeah, it's got a few issues. It's got some dents. It's got a little bit of rust. It's got some sun visors that won't stay up. but overall it runs and drives pretty good, and I think you guys too can also find these out there for less than $5,000 in the used car market. And that is just astounding to me that you can get such luxury, such comfort, and such reliability for so little money. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Brendan, Ian behind the camera. Take care.